Hello everybody and welcome to Parma in northern Italy. The 80 minutes about to unfold between Ireland and Scotland will decide who books their automatic ticket to New Zealand for the Rugby World Cup next year. The candidates have been whittled down to just two, Italy and Ireland, but victory today for Scotland will keep their World Cup show on the road by making it through to the final qualification tournament. Now, less than an hour ago on this pitch, Italy beat Spain 34 points to 10, meaning that whatever happens by the end of this evening, they'll either be booked into Pool B of the Rugby World Cup or heading to the final qualification tournament themselves. This is how things look, and Philippa Tuttiet is once again alongside me. Phil, it's an interesting setup, isn't it? Italy in the driving seat, Scotland know what they're playing for. Ireland can win it all or they can lose it all.
Yeah, really interesting dynamics, isn't it? Ireland, if they win with a bonus point, it would draw them level on points against Italy, but because they beat them in the earlier round, they would go through, or they could not qualify for anything at all if they lose to Scotland.
Yeah, everything on a knife edge for the Irish, and this is how the teams look. Adam Griggs, the head coach of Ireland, has the luxury of naming an unchanged starting 15 to the team which beat Italy last weekend, and Scotland have done exactly the same thing. They've improved perhaps more than any other side between rounds 1 and 2, and Brian Eason keeps the faith with the same starters that beat Spain. They have excitement machines, especially out wide in Rona Lloyd and Megan Gaffney, and on the bench, Scotland have just made some changes. Second row Sarah Bonner and Abby Evans come into contention, with Bonner's work commitments having ruled her out of the first two rounds. She is now back. Ireland's bench just has the one change. Ireland Sevens captain Lucy Mulhall has come in for Enya Breen. Now, if you catch the look of Italians in the stadium, they may be looking quietly confident, and that is because they are in pole position for this direct qualification ticket to New Zealand in 2022. The Scots could upset the apple cart. They could book themselves into this final qualification tournament. They can't have direct qualification. They know that coming into this match. But what motivation to not only upset the Irish, but also have a chance to go to New Zealand. And this is a special moment indeed for Emma Wassell. It is her 50th appearance for her country. It is her 50th consecutive match for Scotland. The second row is a key line-out option, and she'll be all-important this afternoon. And the rest of the Scots come in from the right-hand side of the Stadio Sergio Lanfranchi. Night-time descending in Parma before the night is out. Will it be Ireland or will it be Italy with that direct ticket to New Zealand? Well, the head-to-heads between these two teams are interesting, aren't they, Phil? Over the years, Scotland just have the edge, but Ireland, over the last 15 years, have had the run of it.
Yeah, they really have. In the last 15 matches, Ireland have won 14 of them. So they really have been the more dominant team in the latter years.
There's been so many upsets in this competition, however, we can't rely on any form. That's certainly been made clear to us. Now it's time for the national anthems. Scotland haven't been seen in a Rugby World Cup since 2010. They've missed the last 2 editions. But the Reggio Emilia contingent of Scottish fans here in force. And Ireland, the last 2 tournaments in 2017, that home event, finished 8th. The time before that, they made the semi-finals. They are desperate to get to another. We are all set for a thrilling 80 minutes of rugby. Clara Monari of Italy taking charge of this contest.
Clara, sono Stefano, mi senti?
Io sento, sì, sento.
So which island will we see? The islands which were down by Spain at the very death in their first match, or the Irish side which took on Italy and played some brilliant rugby in the process. Brian Eason and his coaching staff watch on from the Scottish side of things. And Lisa Thompson, who's been in brilliant form at times. We've seen some lovely touches from her across the course of this competition. Will get us underway.
Okay.
This evening game in one of the rugby heartlands of Italy will decide who goes to the Rugby World Cup next year with a direct ticket. Scotland can upset that and book their own more circuitous routes to New Zealand, but Ireland with a bonus point win, that would see them through at the expense of Italy. So I think Italian support will be very much in favour of the Scottish today. The power game so important for Scotland. Jenny Maxwell at scrum half for Scotland, asked to construct things, but already Irish hands making a menace of things and getting the penalty. Good start for the Irish, Phil.
Yeah, they're going to be really keen to show their physicality and their dominance in those collisions. You know, it's really the way that we saw Scotland managing to get that strong victory over Spain in the last round, 27-22, because they were able to get momentum through their forwards. So something I think Ireland are going to be looking to show their dominance and suppress the Scottish carries early on.
Well, that's the left boot of Stacey Flood, a fly half for Ireland, making a safe touch. Real talented ball player, and had a few nerves actually against Italy from the tee. Didn't settle for the first couple of kicks, but that side of her game will be all important. Cleaner Maloney with another vital component, the line out for Ireland. It's good from the beginning. Flood into the midfield, and Naupu, ball goes to the ground. Emily Murphy-Crowe making sure that she's not left out on the wing. Rucks over. One of Ireland's many speedsters in this team. Eve Higgins. Good run from Higgins back in the side after initially losing out to Lucy Mulhall at the start of this competition. Naupu, all the experience that the 37-year-old brings to Ireland's backline. Catherine Dane, the scrum half, and this is the hot stepping of Bevan Parsons. Flood, Maloney. Ireland somehow retain. Naupu, you see plenty of runs, hard runs too, like this one from Linda Njungang. Scotland come away with it, brilliantly stripped. Rachel Malcolm, Scotland's captain, with that carry on the blind side. Well, Ireland, when they get it wide, their back three is absolutely devastating, perhaps the most potent of all the 4 teams. Scotland have the ball again, and this is the type of game Scotland have to play if they are to trouble Ireland. It's got to be oppressive in defence.
Well, a bit of a frantic couple of minutes there to start this game, isn't it? Both teams being plenty of urgency and intensity, but unfortunately The Irish handling there. Getting stripped to the ball, knocking the ball on, balls not quite going to hand, potentially some nerves creeping in. Obviously these Irish players are all too aware at what's at stake and the level of performance they're going to need to be able to try and get not just the win, but that bonus point win that they so desperately want.
Crouch!
Yeah, bonus point win, of course, would see Ireland through at the expense of Italy. Italy, in that case, would qualify for the final qualification tournament instead of Scotland.
Reset.
It's not quite quadratic equations, is it, Philippa Tuttiett? But there are real permutations we need to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and it's just testament to the quality of all these teams. They've all had their ups and downs. They've all very much learnt and grown through this tournament.
Thank you, please.
That's resulted in the situation that we were in at the start of the day when it was all up for grabs.
Crouch!
Interested to know whether, at some point, Phil, who you prefer to be, an Irish fan in this situation or an Italy fan, knowing you've done a good job, you've done everything you can do. But look at this from Ireland. Jade Conkel, so calm, isn't she? I mean, to be going backwards and yet take your time like that, it's so experienced. That helps these Scottish players get going on the outside now. Gaffney is looking for space. Real powerful runner, Megan Gaffney. Up to the 22 goes Scotland. Extremely encouraging beginning this from the Scots. Just exposed at the breakdown.
This is going to be a key area for Ireland, is getting those turnovers at the breakdown. That was really pivotal to their win against Italy in round 2, was just their ability to get in at the breakdown at the right time, challenge, cause knock-ons, cause infringements. Something Scotland are really going to have to be very mindful of when they carry into contact against Ireland.
It's not just an extremely well-drilled physical pack, they are scrappers. Cleaner Maloney, certainly in that category. Made her Irish debut back in 2015, just 18 months after learning the game. Excellent line out, taken down by Friday.
Oh. That's so frustrating. Previous games for Ireland, their line-out has been a real Achilles heel for them. It just hasn't functioned, and at crucial times as well. So to have, start the game with 2 from 2, but then fortunately just not get the pass away, that's really frustrating for the Irish team.
Was good, was perfect. Same.
In terms of the World Cup history between these two teams, they last played at a World Cup in 2010 in Guildford. It was the Irish which won that day. It was their only victory against Scotland at World Cups, because they lost the previous 2 in '94 and in 2006. Another good scrum from Ireland. And they play from the free kick. Well, this could be interesting. Here we go. No, we don't. It could be even better. Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe was herring after that. Almost a 50-22, then almost a try.
It had lots of options, isn't it? Oh, Megan Gaffney chose to keep the ball alive due to the threat of that 50-22.
This is the mark.
It's another tick in the box for the new law system, Phil.
Yeah.
Forcing players to desperately keep it in.
Mm-hmm.
Great field position this for Ireland, but Scotland get up there. Carrying away through Conkel. Smart work at the line-out from Scotland. Maxwell wants rid. Hasn't found touch. Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe steps and beats the first. Scored a try v Italy, Murphy Crow, in Ireland's last match. Here goes Dane. Maupu, it's out the back, and Flood is now spreading it nicely. Higgins. Promising beginning from Eve Higgins in the outside centre channel, looking very strong. Kiara Griffin, the captain, at number 8. Maupu. And Jun Gang again. Now Dane puts it on the toe. Possession rather gifted back to Scotland.
Yeah, that was not the right call. The fullback was there just waiting for it. Not quite sure what the ambition for that was.
Yeah. Ball is available. Okay, fine. Use it.
Maxwell to Thompson. Same result. Ireland can still play. The stretch of this passage of play is edging ever longer. And now Baven Parsons has the ball, but Scotland watch her well. They'll need to do that across the 80 minutes and then some. Such an exciting talent, but Scotland live to that threat.
Yeah, good choice of kick there as well. Just putting the pressure back on to the Scots, keeping them pinned down in their half.
Stacey Flood is winning her 5th cap today.
There.
Lana Skeldon finds her jumper. There is the 50 capper today. Emma Wassell made her debut against Ireland back in the 2014 Six Nations tournament. And still we play on. Baven Parsons. And Scotland just unable to find touch at the moment, perhaps choosing not to as well. 3 of the last kicks not making touch, but it's allowing Ireland to pick their way through and get used to this Scottish defence. Brilliantly turned over. Juggle with the ball.
Unplayable.
Well, Phil, Scotland's kicking to keep the ball in deliberately.
If they are, I wouldn't advise it. I don't think that's the best game plan for them. As you mentioned earlier, Ireland have got potentially one of the most exciting back 3 setups, and you're gifting them the ball in space with the opportunity to counter-attack. But I think potentially kickers for Scotland just being a little ambitious with the length of their kick. I think they are going for territory. I think they are looking to get it out, but they're just trying to stretch themselves that little bit too far at the moment.
Still 0-0 if you're just tuning in for this Ireland against Scotland encounter. What you need to know is that Italy beat Spain earlier on today. It means currently Italy are in the driving seats to book a ticket to New Zealand directly and take up a place in Pool B alongside Canada and the USA, and then another team from Asia still to qualify. But if Ireland can win this and win it with a bonus point, it will be their ticket to New Zealand. Full-blooded encounter this one so far. Murphy Crow sets off again. Ireland utilising their 7 speedster in these opening 12 minutes, but Scotland pulling another trick out of the hat. Thompson goes right down the neck of Emma Considine. Ireland's fullback with her first run of the evening, and here goes Maloney. Now stretching Scotland defence. Dane. And Jun Gang. Flood. This is Dorothy Wall Ever-present selection across this competition for the Irish. Flood again, really stretching Scotland now. Murphy Crowe. Laura Feely. Day, and the tempo rising now for Ireland. Nicola Friday puts her shoulder to the wheel. Flood looking to stretch the play, and Maloney with the soft pass out of the tackle. Oh, Scotland's get their hands on it. Crucial intervention.
Oh, great ambition from the hooker there, Maloney. She's literally being tackled to the ground as she's sort of thinking about getting that ball away. We'll see it again here. It's quick hands. Maloney there. She hasn't even hit the deck and she's got that offload away, but maybe it's just one too many. When you can hear the winger calling like that, you've just got to... It's so difficult not to just give that pass, but potentially she could have looked to keep that in hand. Ifs and buts, but it could come down to those fine margins.
So interesting to see Ireland playing with expanse at the start of this match, because it's exactly what they did against Italy. Real looping passes from Stacey Flood, trying to use every inch of this pitch.
Okay, Clara, I'm giving you the mark. It's on the 10 meters line, 4 or 5 meters outside the 15.
The question is, can Ireland convert this territory, this possession, into points? Because, you know, they haven't managed to score that much in this tournament. When you think about round one, they lost. It was 8-7. It was a close game. They only got 7 points out of that. Round two, yes, they beat Italy, but they only scored 15. They're getting into the opposition's 22 on many occasions, but they're not coming away with the points. Sharp contrast to Scotland, putting 27 points on Spain in last round. So you'd say Scotland potentially feeling a bit more confident in attack, but whether they're going to be able to get the ball off Ireland to show that.
Thank you. Time on.
Ireland captain Ciara Griffin just saying ahead of this tournament that the Irish have been waiting 18 months from this, in the early days of 2020, thinking it would take place last year, and then the delay, and just adds to the pressure. And that hasn't found touch, so Scotland play from 5 metres out. Considine might fancy this. Has a Gaelic football background, Dina Considine. Sam Monaghan, international newcomer at the start of this competition, but how she's taking to it, and Maloney fancies herself a footballer.
Off feet! Off feet! Off feet! No. Off feet.
Lisa Thompson made the kick to touch, and Phil, the Scotland defence being stretched every which way and holding firm.
It is, and that is real testament to lessons learned, because round one against Italy, Scotland were leaking tries. They were beaten 38-13, and they were soft. There were one-up tackles being missed. Defence was just being pulled apart. But it was a marked improvement against Spain. They did go down. They conceded a try early doors in that game, but they weathered it. They shook it off, and their defence has been much better since. So certainly being challenged today. Let's just hope lessons have been learned.
In many ways, it's already been a successful competition for Scotland. They've moved up into 10th in the world rankings, I think for the first time in their history.
Thank you.
Spain, Italy and Ireland just below them. Jade Concal. When Scottish forwards run aggressively and puncture holes in the defence, everything seems to work. It's really aggressive defence from Ireland, and here comes Bevan Parsons. This time wants to chase her own kick. Look at the pressure she's able to put on. She's going to come back for Considine. Or Stacey Flood, actually. Eve Higgins,
Tackle!
22 years old. She's 15 years the junior of her centre partner, Naupu. Jungang. Catherine Dane. Flood, and now Maloney just holds that inside, and then Considine gets it onto Parsons. Jungang carries the momentum forward. Dane, Flood, now Feely. Starting to enjoy that outside channel, Laura Feely. Higgins is all wrapped up though by Smith. Feely again with that carry. Flood. Maloney. Number of positions that she's occupying in these early stages. Coming from them at all angles, and so is Jungang. And she's stretching her legs, wielding her power. And what power! Linda Jungang blows the whole of Scotland away.
Wow, what a run. Talk about follow me, guys. What a good leader's run. We've seen glimpses of her throughout this tournament with these strong carries that somehow she just busts through the first contact and then she just drives her legs and goes. But that was not just sheer power, that was a bit of pace. She's looking for the outside edge. Wasn't the perfect pass, picks it up off the ground. But look at her weaving through players. 2, 3, 4, 5 Scots beaten. What a try.
It's absolutely outstanding, and Irish fans just celebrating as soon as she got the ball. They knew that she would be in.
It's fantastic work from Ireland there, but we have just mentioned about the Scottish defence and those one-up tackles. There's a lot of reaching there with hands and sort of leaning, and you've just got to commit yourself, get that shoulder in low and chop down a player like that, because she is so strong, she will fend you off.
Pressure turned into points by Ireland, but not the full 7. Stacey Flood from her left foot just pulling it across the posts. Ireland 5, Scotland 0.
Picks it up off the deck. There's nothing on. There's a sea of blue in front of her, but she backs herself. Initially, she just wants to go forward, but then she starts to feel the wind beneath her wings, and off she goes. Oh, she's going to like seeing that back again.
Yeah, that is one to clip up, to keep for all time for Linda Jungang. David Parsons capable of similar power. Almost getting away, Parsons. How devastating was that, and how devastating are Ireland in these opening exchanges? Considine. All rangy limbs getting round the Scottish defenders. Flood just misses out in Jungang, and the whole of Scotland breathes a sigh of relief.
Well, you can certainly see Ireland are starting to play with their tails up a bit here. They've certainly got a newfound bit of confidence into their play. So good opportunity now for Scotland. Get your hands on the ball, get down into the Irish half.
Lisa Thompson makes a good touch.
That's fine, Ireland, perfect.
Scotland have shown their resilience in this competition already, even when they have conceded tries which might have been deemed as soft, and perhaps that last one could go down slightly under that category, or under the exceptional category from Jungang, but they've bounced back well.
Yeah, absolutely. Went down early against Spain. Early try conceded. They came back. They were down at half-time. They went on still to win the game. So, yeah, you'll certainly see Scotland fight all the way through to the end for this one.
Jade Kunkel, whose work rate drives so much of what's good about Scotland under pressure.
Yeah, she's been absolutely pivotal for them in this tournament. The amount of times their scrum has been going backwards, and I just literally don't know how Jade Kunkel has got the ball from within the depths of the scrum, but she'll come out with it every time, and not only that, she will get go forward every time. She really is such an asset for them.
Yeah, she's a phenom, isn't she? Scotland's from a maul, edge into Ireland's 22. Maxwell needs it. Doesn't go to hand, but look at the footballing skills from Thompson. Class from Scotland's inside centre. Rachel McClacken taken a bit high. Lana Skeldon plays it out the back to Nelson. This could be interesting. Rona Lloyd is lurking, and so too Considine.
Yeah, well fielded there by the Irish fullback. You could hear the referee saying advantage off what looked like potentially a bit of a high tackle. So good idea there from the Irish backs. Let's just mix things up. Let's put the ball in the air. Let's see if we can get something out of that, knowing that they'll get the ball back.
Yeah, sure, 100%. Okay, perfect.
Made very few changes to his backline across this competition, Adam Griggs. Just the outside centre channel where Eve Higgins has exchanged jerseys with Lucy Mulholland.
Okay, they are going to look into this. I could see a forearm making contact with the head then. Let's see if we get to see this back.
Stefano, could you show us the best angle?
We asked the director to put on the screen.
Thank you.
Okay, so they're looking at number 7 then, Adele Mahon.
Okay, Stefano.
Wait a second. Wait a second. From behind. Do we have another one? This is the best angle.
Okay.
Play this again.
That's tricky
Let
because
me explain.
for me it looks like she's targeting the ball.
Mitigating factor, dropping height and changing her direction.
A touch of mitigation with McClacken dropping her knees a bit, Phil.
No, nothing else.
Okay. Number?
Let me check the number.
Thank you.
Yep, so a mitigating factor being a drop
7
in
green.
height.
7.
7 green.
10. 10 green. Okay.
7 green. 7 green, not
7
10.
green.
7
Okay.
green.
7 green. 7 green.
Stacey Flood about to get her marching orders unfairly.
Was it head contact, mitigation, dropping height, and changing his direction is going to be a yellow card. Yep. Oops.
I feel absolutely the right call for you.
Yeah, any contact with the head now, you're going to have some kind of penalty infringement from it, obviously, as we are trying to make the game as safe as possible. We still want those big hits, we still want those big collisions, obviously doing whatever we can to avoid contact with the head. Applying mitigation, yep, fair. I do think there was a duck in the tackle there, so, yeah, yellow card. For me is the right call. Question is, can Scotland make the most of this?
Helen Nelson with the penalty attempt. And Helen Nelson with Scotland's first points of the evening. Ireland 5 and Scotland pegging them back 5-3. 10 minutes now to play against 14 players. We've seen how yellow cards have influenced matches quite frequently in this competition.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you consider that it's usually such a tight encounter between these two teams, they last met in the Six Nations in 2020. It was 18-14. So although Ireland have the run of dominance of recent years, it's been a very close battle.
Stacey Flood from her dominant left foot goes to the right. Jenny Maxwell asks Scotland to play.
No hands. No, stay on. Thank you. Stop, Lou.
And then asks Lisa Thompson to kick, but once again, so much time for Ireland to counter. Stacey Flood this time the option. She will spread play. Eve Higgins picking her way through is Higgins, and Bevan Parsons is now lurking. Now Upu couldn't slip it to her. And Jungan throws away Emma Wassell. Flood. Nicola Friday. Flood again, recycling so quickly the Irish, the tempo's being raised. It was a high-speed game which led to their first try.
Tackle!
Can Scotland live with Ireland when they play at a lick like this? Polina Maloney gets Ireland into the 22. Now Higgins is round the back. Considine is coming into the line. Her interventions have been right on time so far. So too have lots of Scottish work on the floor.
Real patient defensive set there from Scotland. Didn't panic, weathered the storm, made the right decision to get in the ruck at the right time. Oh, that's brilliant work there from the 15, Chloe Rowley. Straight over the ball.
That's good work from one of the new Exeter signings, Chloe Rowley.
They're hitting with that wrapping. Okay, for me it was good because of both players, and immediately the tackle wasn't close, it wasn't close. For me it was good, but absolutely keep the eye open. Yep. Okay,
There's Eva Considine. Knows what it's like to spend time off the field herself, actually, in this competition. Yellow carded for contact to the head against Italy. When she is running at full tilt, she's so difficult to stop. Just another threat to add to Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe and Bevan Parsons. It probably is the strongest back three that we could possibly see in this competition.
Yeah, I think so, and especially with the fact that the World 7 Series obviously hasn't been taking place, so a lot of the Irish internationals, Lucy Mulhall, who's on the bench, Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe, who's playing, have been able to have some consistent time with the 15s, and they've really added to their setup.
Scotland happy to play from deep in their 22. Concal, as sure as houses, recycling that ball. It's almost as if Irish players say, no point, let's try our luck elsewhere. Parsons. Considine looks to run towards support. Again, more good tackling from Hannah Smith. She is getting through a shift in the 13 jersey for Scotland. Another good meterage made by Ireland, and Higgins. Such an awkward frame to have to pull down, Eve Higgins. It's part of her weaponry. Bevan Parsons bearing down.
Great take there from the Scottish fullback, and the right idea to call the mark. She had a back turned to the Irish onslaught that she could probably hear coming, so right idea, call the mark. Don't often get it see it being used that much nowadays, but right idea for her to use it.
Let's go.
Onslaught is exactly the way to describe Bevan Parsons as well. Just a phenomenal physical talent.
Yeah, And when you get to the elite level, all wingers are fast. All wingers are going to have a good step. But what separates them, what kicks on the really special wingers, is their ability to make something out of nothing. And Bivin Parsons has done that on multiple occasions. Fantastic player, love watching him.
Scotland getting behind through Lana Skeldon. Look at Naupu making the perfect time, but the ball was slipped on to McLachlan. Lovely hands in tight spaces from Scotland. Now Lisa Thompson. Hannah Smith gets a chance to attack the outside centre. Louise McMillan. Oh, it's too low for Conkell. And Jenny Maxwell holds her hand up. And if she could relive that moment, she surely would.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
Free scrum.
Scotland are certainly not getting as much possession as Ireland right now. They've just got to be a bit more clinical.
Stacey Flood with a fly half night there. The hooker peeling off the back and heading down her channel, but she did well. 10 minutes to play before half-time. Still 5 points to 3 between Ireland and Scotland in Palmer.
Yeah, okay.
And a reminder that Ireland
Don't
needs
step back.
to win with a
Stay
bonus
on your
point.
feet. Both sides. Don't step back, please. That's all.
A bonus
Stay
point
on your
win would
feet.
see them in New Zealand, ahead of Italy.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Catherine Day, Flood, Naupu, Eve Higgins clatters in to Lisa Thompson. Flood and Murphy Crowe, all the ace cards being thrown on the table by Ireland. They know how important it is to have this
Good.
4-try bonus point. The win effectively doesn't mean that much to them. Chloe Rowley has to be quick. Parsons is quicker. Such good support though from Gaffney. Scotland dig themselves out of a tight spot. Maxwell again. Scotland loving the ball in their hands, not looking for territory.
Tackle, release. Move, Green.
Ireland's so organised. And Njungang is marching through the middle. Of course, another kick right down the middle. Considine. Flood. Murphy Crowe. Beats the first.
No, not loose. Stay.
Maloney. Moves forwards to her left and tips the ball on. Ireland still playing with 14. Adel McMahon still in the sin bin, and Linda and Njungang playing like two people at times. Sam Monaghan with the drive. Now Upu picks and goes.
Stop.
No real chase to speak of. Maxwell has time to pick her next move. And Megan Gaffney it was in the end. Maxwell following up from the 9 position. Helen Nelson. Thompson. Now Smith and onto Rolly, and she gets away on the left-hand side. Considine live to the threat. Scotland's game plan bearing fruit of keeping the ball in hand. And now the forwards put Ireland on the back foot. This is how holes develop for Scotland. Got to puncture them first and then whip the ball wide.
There, now he's available, now he's available. Use the ball.
Things just slowing down a little for Scotland, but now Rona Lloyd will press the accelerator.
There.
Maxwell. Louise McMillan. Nelson. Rona Lloyd just taken to task by Stacey Flood. No foot speed to go forward from. Skeldon has a bit more. Breathless rugby from both teams, but Scotland really burning the lungs in this stretch of play. And it's superb defence from Ireland. Rolly round the back, chooses the perfect pass to Megan Gaffney. Hands off Higgins, takes on Murphy Crowe, gets the ball away. Smith was in support. Twice now, Scotland get right in behind Ireland. The scramble defence is incredible.
They have certainly weathered this card so well. I mean, to be fair, it really doesn't look like it's phased Ireland at all. They've been really composed. Nice bit of offloading play there from Scotland. Megan Gaffney there, you can just see on her knees. Yeah, great run, keeping the ball alive. And here's Chloe Rowley. A bit of a contact there just as she turns on the full-back. Irish full-back Emir Considine, who is still now receiving some treatment. But that's the offloading play. It's been really nice to see from Scotland.
I understand. I will check for you. Just be careful. The second player must stay on her feet. Okay? I understand. I will.
Phil, how much are Scotland's tactics at the moment dictated by the fact they've been playing against 14, or do you think that's been the stall that they wanted to set out right from the start?
Yeah, I don't think it really would have been anything would be particularly targeting, because they haven't really had enough ball and enough consecutive phases to really figure Scotland out, to know where the weaknesses would be. So I think it would have just been players off, more of the same, but let's try and do it down in their half. But like I say, I think Ireland have managed that situation very well.
So Lauren Delaney enters the fray for Emma Considine.
Just a moment. Yep.
Struggle to shake off that heavy collision.
Time is off. Time is off.
It's a real shame for Ireland.
Okay.
5 minutes to play to half-time. Ireland with one of the 4 tries they need to book themselves the tickets to New Zealand. That is a direct qualification ticket, I should add. A victory over Scotland will see them enter the final qualification tournament, though. So, at the very least, Ireland will be demanding that they come away with that. So McMahon back on, unable to take that line out, and Jun Gang tidies up. McMahon back into action.
Tackle!
Flood. Higgins just can't take it.
Frustrating handling errors from both sides. There's a good bit of pressure put on there by the Scottish defence, but you do still feel like that ball could have been caught, even with that pressure. You see that again. No, you can see there the centre has come up from Scotland, Lisa Thompson. She's putting the pressure on, but she's still a good 2 or 3 metres away from the player. That ball should have gone to hands. That's frustrating for Ireland.
Actually, it wasn't Eve Higgins at all, was it? Lauren Delaney, her first touch, unfortunately. just on the field for Considine. Good field position for Scotland, Maxwell. Now Rona Lloyd looks to go round.
Oh, nice.
The Irish defence, that was good. Maxwell again, Scotland's attacking the spaces, and through goes Hannah Smith, stepping through. Naupu gets back. Danger not averted. Scotland knocking on the door.
Play advantage offside.
McLachlan heads into the fray.
No advantage.
Playing with the advantage. Playing with their tails up. Macmillan. What a break that was from Hannah Smith. Now Nelson, now Thompson. Ireland managing to slow the breakdown a touch. Conkle just looks to drive straight over the top. Nelson puts it through for Rona Lloyd, who gets the touchdown. Scotland with an absolute beauty.
Wow, what a try for Scotland to score. Talk about ambitious, but the calmness of the Scottish backs to recognise that space, put that ball in, and that's a difficult ball to place in because she didn't have much depth to play with. So as much as she had to get the ball there quickly for the winger to get onto, she had to put a good bit of height on it to make sure it didn't go too far and that it would try and bounce up there for the winger. Let's just see this one more time. Oh, cool, calm, collected. Helen Nelson, pinpoint accuracy of a kick, but so well read by Rona Lloyd. She's up, she's beginning the foot race. She completely caught the Irish wingers off guard. Look at this touch.
Okay.
So soft, pinpoint accuracy. Really nice try from Scotland.
Rona Lloyd's third try in the competition, a try in each of her previous two encounters. She's lethal.
She is, and you know what, this tournament, even more so than actually the Six Nations this year, I'm really starting to see the Scottish backs click. They've always had the individuals, they've always had the skills, but it just feels like they're now starting to work together, read one another, and it just comes from time together. This back line now, pretty much their standard starting team, what we've seen throughout this tournament.
Nelson can't add the extras, but Scotland have the lead. 8 points to 5.
Oh, when you see things like that, you just wonder, why doesn't that happen more often? That looks too easy. Testament to how skillful these players can be.
It's not the biggest dead ball area here in Palmer. It was weighted so well, and Rona Lloyd one up over Bevan Parsons. Hasn't had much to live off either, the right winger. Well, testament to just keeping the ball in hand and playing yourself down the field. So Scotland, if we were to adjust the table as we go through this match, currently Scotland would be booking their tickets to the final qualification tournament. They have put the World Cup ticket right back on the table, Scotland. Fantastic try from Rona Lloyd at the end of the first half. 8 points to 5 after a blistering Irish start. Things are so well balanced here at the Stadio Sergio Lanfranchi. The Scots with a lot to toast at half-time, but we will be back very shortly. Things are so well set up here, Phil. Welcome back to the second half action, everybody. Scotland heading back onto the field with a 3-point advantage over Ireland. 8-3 they lead. Ireland's record of consecutive World Cup appearances since missing out on the very first edition in 1991 is under threat against Scotland, who haven't qualified since the 2010 edition. And if Ireland are to turn that around, they'll have to beat the opponents that they have played most against in international rugby. This is now the 30th fixture between Ireland and Scotland in the two nations' history. Scotland sense an upset. Ireland sense direct qualification if they can win with a bonus point. They'll need to score 3 more tries to do that, and they'll need to stop Scotland scoring. It is on a knife edge in Parma. The next 40 minutes are going to be thrilling indeed. Stacey Flood goes away to the right. Phil Tutiens. Things are going to get quite tense over the next 40, aren't they?
Oh, they certainly are. We've had a very cagey first half. Oh, it'll be interesting to hear what the team talks were at half-time, but I think for both sides it is going to be respect the ball, be a bit more clinical. Let's cut out these errors and try and play some attacking rugby.
Stop, Blue.
Scotland, the architects of attacking rugby in the second half of that first period.
Stop.
Ireland really leading the way from the off. Chloe Rowley started to find a few spaces towards the end of the first period. Gets held there by Ireland, and Lana Skeldon looks to get through a similar slice of work as she did in the first period. That's a much better kick downfield from Helen Nelson, really causing Ireland to turn. And that wasn't the case with some of Scotland's long field kicks in the first half. Now they have the ball in the hands of Hannah Smith. Ships it along the line. Maxwell. Scotland looking to start quickly.
Offside.
All the ambition, Phil, and we saw it a couple of times. Just that error creeping in.
Yeah, we've seen this a few times from the Irish defence. Obviously, they want to bring intensity, they want to bring aggression, and it seems to be a couple of players maybe have free rein to shoot out of the tackle and make that spot hit. But you do that, you've got to be careful. You need to be low, and you need to make sure you're timing it spot on.
Worrying signs for Scotland with fly half Helen Nelson receiving treatment after that hit from Sene Naupu.
Clara,
she's got such good timing when she comes out of the line.
There is a big hit. The tackle is...
She really brings so much experience to the centre partnership. 44th cap tonight, Sene Naupu. Someone who has had a lot to deal with in recent years.
Yeah.
A neck tumour was discovered on her in the early days of 2020. She's recovered from that, back out on the international pitch. Real stalwart of this Irish side. Arrived in Ireland in 2009 after switching from North Otago, where she grew up. Samoan New Zealander by birth. Her husband George, who had a short-term contract with Connaught, which brought Naupu to Ireland in the first place. Now looking to head back to New Zealand in an Irish jersey for the World Cup next year. But work to do. 3 tries required. It's not going to be easy against the Scottish defence. They're up for the scrap, Phil.
I just can't see it. Based off the first half, I think things would drastically need to change to be able to put that many tries past this Scottish team. You know, we've talked about the length of this tournament, the tight turnarounds, only 6 days. The weather conditions have been incredibly warm. Maybe teams could tire, and if Scotland really, you know, felt the conditions and they plummeted in the last 15, then maybe, but I don't know. At the moment, it seems far too tight to be talking about bonus point tries.
Again.
It would be fascinating to know, wouldn't it, what, as you say, what was said at half-time, whether
Yes.
the Irish contingent feel they can push for those 4 tries,
That's fine. Okay, thank you.
or whether now it's all about the arm wrestle and getting a qualification to the final qualification tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been involved in chats like that where you're told not to think about the points, not to think about the tries, just get one, go again. That's your one and only MO.
And no doubt Ireland following a similar blueprint. Cleaner Maloney has it up the back. Catherine Dane has all manner of mischief wrapped around her. Brian Easton applauds enthusiastically. I think that was Emma Wassell. It was indeed, on her 50th cap, just causing chaos.
Really good hustle there.
Scrum, Lou. Scrum. Ja, Beth. TMO, check. Ja, Beth.
In such a tight affair like this, little snipes around the edge, disrupting the 9. That's really what can make quite an impact. It may only seem small, but it really can make an impact in tight games like this.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Not stable. Not stable.
Irish scrum just wobbling. Made a few changes into the front row. Lindsay Peat has come on, a starter earlier in the tournament. She'll turn 41 in November.
Leg up. Okay. I understand. Okay.
Yeah, very strong player. Great work ethic as well.
Backwards.
Maxwell
Off feet.
has done so well to keep that ball on the Scottish side. Marcel plays scrum half.
Go green.
He's going to go back to Nelson.
Stop, Blue.
Emily Murphy-Crowe has gone forward. Well, let's pick over that one, Phil. She initially went back, but then adjudged to have gone forward.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to see the rerun of that one because I thought she just managed to juggle it.
Absolutely.
We always love to see her counter-attacking, don't we, with that much space.
But stay square and stable before the ball. Thank you.
Amazing to think that Murphy-Crowe only made her international 15s debut earlier this year. It's a name you just think is synonymous with Irish rugby, but
Crouch.
up until this year, only on the 7th circuit.
Bind. Set.
Maxwell. Penalty Ireland.
Ireland have certainly made steps to improve their scrum and line out. Heading into this game, it's been really shaky for them in the past few rounds.
Okay. Ladies, binding not on the short. Thank you.
It's a match which right now feels every inch like
10.
a dogfight for the next 34 minutes.
Okay. Long binding, but not on the short. Not on the short. Thank you. Yeah, okay. Yep.
Italy will be feeling good, mind.
Keep your space.
Sitting in the stands, watching on. Their work having been done earlier tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to be looking at this game thinking this is far too tight to be a bonus point try game. But still, never say never. They'll be watching it. They'll be watching with their hearts in their mouths, no doubt.
Penalty Scotland. Oh, the role reversal at scrum time.
So often see that in a defensive scrum, don't you? This extra level of energy just comes out of nowhere when you're on the defence. That must be frustrating for the Irish management to see one scrum so dominant. Flash forward a second later and it's a complete role reversal.
Scotland's Sarah Law
Green on the line. Thank you.
in a 22 jersey. He's come on for Helen Nelson now. Slotting into fly half, and that's an excellent kick to touch. 5 metres out. Scotland looking for a second. Scotland looking for a passage through to the World Cup, possibly. Won't be done tonight for them. But they can keep that dream alive. And the blue jerseys swarm together. Ireland turning it to the floor. Advantage coming.
Play advantage.
Maybe every advantage they need. If they can get this ball over the line. So close.
Shot.
Scotland's hunting a second. Belial is waiting for it.
Stay on the line.
The tight head, she has to pile in and try and push for the line. Scotland sneak it over. Second saw for the Scots, and they've gone right through the Irish machine up front. Scotland are tearing up the expectations.
They really are. And when you talk about being clinical, it's the first time in the second half they've got into such a good attacking position, and they've managed to come away with it.
Ladies, 7 subs.
It is still a very cagey battle. We are seeing the possession of the ball swap back and forth like it's a tennis game, but when Scotland are in that right position, they were going for it. To outmuscle the Irish forwards is something. And you've got to be so careful now with that new law. If you get held up on that line, it's a dropout. It's, you've lost possession. But they believe, they back themselves, and yeah, I don't think many people saw this coming.
Sarah Law just to the left, but Scotland lead 13 points to 5, having trailed Ireland's 5-0 for most of the first half. Good news for Ireland. Emma Considine is back on.
Oh, that's a big player to be coming on now for Ireland. Claire Malloy. You know, very used to seeing Claire Malloy on the starting sheet week in, week out. Former captain, she's captain Ireland as well. But in this tournament, she's really been making her appearances off the bench. Last round, she did get a start, but back on the bench this one. But what a player to be bringing on, especially in this moment of the game. She's going to be all over the ruck area. She's going to be looking for those jackals, but she's very active in the loose as well. She'll be looking to run off people's shoulders.
Claire Malloy, part of that Irish team which won the Grand Slam or the Six Nations Championship in 2015. Now she'll be putting herself to good use.
Stop, Blue!
So might Considine. All the checks having been done, and now putting Sarah Law under pressure. Considine hammers into the replacement fly half. And Jun Gang tries to ruck over, but Scotland keep ball. So much time still to play in this contest. Pressure on. Lisa Thompson gets it away. Catherine Day over to Flood, and Flood just pins her ears back. Goes herself. Thompson and Smith in the end close the door. Here goes Malloy. Drives the legs hard. Good tackle from Belial. And Jun Gang, has she picked it off the floor? That's super skills. Here goes Maloney. Flood. Jinking. Ireland's attack very flat. But with Cleena Maloney, she has all the attributes to knock down the blue wall. So too does Eve Higgins. Skates through a little wider. Now here comes Dorothy Wall, spreading to Considine. Murphy Crowe is with her. Scotland's defence stretched, as yet unbroken.
No, stay blue. Use it.
Considine waits. And Jun Gang ends her weight. Extra latcher seemingly, but the play goes on and Ireland looking to respond. Higgins
Clear advantage offside.
playing with the advantage. Opportunities either side of the ruck.
Before. Yep, there.
Maloney looking to play quickly. Whew,
Penalty. There.
That was an intense set, wasn't it?
just a bit.
After.
Just the try from earlier. That's the perfect sort of blend of low but powerful drive, just sneaking in under the defence there. So aware not to be held up, you know, not to allow a player to be able to get underneath her. Really good skills there from Lana Skeldon.
Okay.
Yeah, so we finally managed to peel the bodies away. Lana Skeldon it was who got the try.
Yep.
Thought we were going to have to put that one down to a collective pack effort. Skeldon. Stacey Flood lining this one up. I think confirmation, if any were in doubt, that this is all about the win now for Ireland. They're shelving any thoughts of overhauling Italy, and they're trying to rein in Scotland. Stacey Flood with the points. Pressure telling, Phil.
Yeah, I think it's the right idea to take that kick. You know, it is early doors into the second half. It just chips away at the margin between the two teams. They did have a good long spell there. They gave it everything to try and break down Scotland. They didn't manage to do it. So just come away with 3, rebuild, go again.
Five points in it.
Number 3, be careful, you're in front. Be careful. Be careful. Thank you.
There's the try scorer, Skeldon.
Green, take a step. Thank you.
She's not just a good try scorer, Phil. She's so good in defence as well. Really good front-on tackler. Law. Scottish backline having to get used to the absence of Helen Skelton now.
Okay, stand a con.
New rhythm to the match. Just playing out. This might be how things are for the next 25 minutes. Two Celtic nations knocking chunks out of each other. Whoever does make it through to the final qualification tournaments will face the likes of Samoa and Colombia. Those two teams already booked into that last chance saloon. And then one other team will join them, Japan, Kazakhstan or Hong Kong, but Ireland on the surge again. And Jungang. Juggled by Peets, but well taken. Flood. Griffin. Protects the ball. Flood just wants to take it backwards, and now Bevan Parsons looks to light up. Warning sign always flashing when she has the ball. Eve Higgins too. Ireland looking to wrestle control back in their favour, but it's Scotland's who hold them up.
Wow, what a way to show your physicality. Getting a player to be held up like that, so close to the try line, that's really quite impressive. I felt their Ireland were building, they were getting some good go forward, just a couple of metres on every carry. But that Scottish defence there, that one episode of holding the player up has completely taken all the energy out of that attack. It's sapped it of any confidence that it might have given Ireland.
Scotland set for a scrummage examination.
Crouch! Find! Set! Offside. Yeah. One more. Keep it up! Crouch! Find! Set! Wait!
As good as rock solid as far as Jade Conkler is concerned. She gets the ball. As calm ahead under that sort of pressure as you can find, but Ireland push Scotland back and over the line.
Yep.
Oh, great bit of pressure from Ireland. It all started with that scrum, didn't it? Jade Conkler had so much work to do. She tried her best. There was just no way she was getting much go forward from that. And look at this double up tackle here by the captain. Led there. Of course it's going to be Cara Griffin on that one.
Keep it up, thank you.
Sarah Bonner, who is just met by every green body in town.
Crouch!
Great chance this for Ireland. Catherine Dane with the ball in her hands. She's been Ireland's scrum half, first choice scrum half for a couple of seasons now. Needs to deliver a clean ball. It's going to go to Griffin first, and Maxwell has to take her legs. Great tackle from the scrum half. Now it's up to the back's Flood, over to Higgins. It's close to the line, and Considine is hit oh so hard. Is it Hannah Smith again? It's Chloe Rowley involved.
Use it!
Such good defence. Look at the ground Scotland have gained. Malloy. Griffin now sets off on a wider arc, the number 8. So too does Considine. Murphy Crow not bringing speed to that incision. Griffin again starting to take more ball. Ciara Griffin and now Upu. That goes really wide. Higgins looks to stretch it again. Flood, as Bevan Parsons has to go herself. Pops out the side.
Scotland need to be careful here. They're getting tired and they're starting over chasing. Look at their hips when the ball goes wide. They're starting to chase too far. If Ireland can recognise that and send some runners back inside or cut against the grain, they will slice through that defensive line. Scotland need to try and stay square in their hips.
Ireland switching with Flood, and nice work from the halfbacks. Scotland got to be careful of giving away a penalty. And then Ireland going quickly because Catherine Dane is sharp. Now Upu switches it on to Lindsay Peets. Lindsay Peet has possibly got Ireland's World Cup hopes back on the road. And when times are tough, call on the veterans in your side, and Lindsay Peets gets over the whitewash. She's not almost 41 years old. She was leaping like a 20-something in her first full season.
Yeah, and we talked about her work rate, didn't we? And it's not just her ambition to get on people's shoulders, but she's confident enough to run that outside arc. She's running like a centre there. She's not just sticking to her one and only going hard and straight. When she knows there's overchasing happening in this defensive line, there are gaps out wide, she sticks to that outside arc. But the work rate to be able to get up from the ruck that she was just involved in, to get on the outside edge like that, absolutely fantastic. You could just see it coming. Scotland weathered a long defensive set there. But naturally, of course, it's been an incredibly intense match. There's going to be tired bodies. And it was just a case of how long could Ireland keep hold of that ball, because they were going to get the try at some point.
Game back on. Ireland's 15, Scotland 13.
No. Number one.
And all of a sudden, a cold creep goes down the backs of Italian fans as well, I'm sure.
How lovely was the weight on the pass there from Selena Pura, number 12. You know, she knew the outside runner was coming round, but she didn't give it too early. She took it right to the game line, and just a lovely soft lift to allow Lindsay Peet to run on it at full pelt. Really nice skills.
Okay, up to you.
Catherine Dane takes off her GPS tracker. Her evening's work completed. She's leaving the pitch with her team 2 points ahead. Megan Parsons weaving trickery.
Use it!
Malloy. What will this do to Ireland? Stacey Flood sets off and gets around her opposite number. Sarah Law playing at fly half for Scotland. Lovely from Flood. Now Upu. Great awareness to see the runners outside her for the try. And Jungang. New scrum half for Ireland is Emily Lane in the 21 jersey. Considine says, give me the ball. There's space behind. And just look at that. Chloe Rolly has to play it. Hands off Considine. Super kick from the Irish fullback. Smart return, but Ireland snaffle it. Higgins goes, looking for a third, trying to step out. Well, Ireland might be getting everything back on the road. Pete plays scrum half. Lane. Maloney is there, and so too is Wall. She's hit hard. Lane, Flood, kicks, but it might land nicely for Scotland.
Just a moment. Wrong.
Great defensive hit there from Scotland. Just stifling the Irish attack. Ireland was certainly stringing together some really nice phases there. Eve Higgins just showing her experience. Stacey Flood going for a different style there, going for the grubber through. It would have been the right idea if she'd have managed to thread it through, because Chloe Rowley had been involved in earlier phases and wasn't in the backfield, so there was space there for her. Unfortunately, couldn't quite thread it through the Scottish defence there. From an earlier infringement, still have the ball and the shot at points just to try and increase that gap to score margin.
I guess you'd say it's the safer option, and it doesn't rule out scoring 2 more tries and booking that direct ticket either. Especially when Flood calmly strokes it through. 18-3, 18-13. Ireland leads Scotland. Stacey Flood adds 3 more points to her tally. Well, there are so many possibilities at this point, and minutes edging towards full time. A reminder that if Ireland win against Scotland, but without a bonus point, then they will be through to the final qualification tournament. Another last chance to book a ticket to New Zealand. But if they can score 2 more tries, then they'll win with a bonus point, and they will dethrone Italy, who currently have this direct qualification ticket. And if they do that, it'll be because they beat Italy in the head-to-head match last weekend. But they have to get that bonus point because Italy got the bonus point against Spain. And Scotland in this equation, still in this fight. Absolutely, if they can win, Ireland will be completely out of luck, and Scotland will be heading to this last chance qualification opportunity. So that's where we are. Emily Lane's pass was loose.
Use it!
5 points the difference between the teams. We've seen late drama already in this European qualifying competition over previous weeks. Ireland don't want any of it, at least only on their terms. Here comes the try scorer Pete, who changed everything. Linda and Jungang having got Ireland's night underway with the first try. Things felt very different then. Here goes Lane. Nice skirmish from the scrum half.
No hands now, thank you.
Griffin.
Off feet!
Penalty.
Pressure just starting to tell on the Scots, but look at that, not even going for the points. They are now in the hunt for those tries.
A switch of mindset. Bevan Parsons. I haven't seen the best of her tonight yet. Lena Maloney. Hair flying everywhere. She carries straight. Now Pete again. Performing so well off the bench. A couple of starts earlier in the competition, but showing what a player she is in this match. And here goes Considine. Murphy Crowe tries to seal the ball. 12 minutes remaining. Ireland need 2 tries. Lane. Naupu. Lane again. Ireland lining up on the left-hand side. Numbers in their favour. Eve Higgins spots the gap. Scotland haul her down. Meter short. And grab the penalty.
Oh, that's such a shame for Ireland. I mean, credit to the Scottish defence there, but you just felt they were in there. They had numbers, they had an overlap. Eve Higgins chose to cut back in, fine, she was going against the grain. But it's just the supporting player there, straight off feet. Basically, if you're making it uncontestable, that is a penalty, and straight off feet means the ball can't be challenged for. It's just tired bodies, tired minds, things like that creep in.
Are you okay? Okay, sta arrivando.
Just wonder, Phil, what is left in the tank for Scotland? They've improved so much across the course of the last 3 weekends. Can they hit a new height, do you think?
They really have, and the marker has been their defence. As I mentioned, in round one, they leaked a lot of tries to a very good Italian team, but still, one-up tackles were just not good enough. Yes, we saw that earlier try from Ireland with the prop and Dugan, who did run through quite a few players, but apart from that, their defence has been markedly improved. You just feel like sometimes they spend so much of their energy defending, they don't quite have enough left for the attack.
Okay.
Christine Belisle's night is over. Molly Wright's entering the fray. Now, what do Scotland have left for their attack? Another climbing, reaching take by Russell in her 50th appearance. Scotland just about make the most of that spilt ball. Stadium clock says 10 minutes remaining.
Use it.
I'd love to know what's going through the minds of the Italian players and Sara Baratini and her teammates in the stands right now. Counting down every second. Ten minutes for the whole European qualifying tournaments to be decided, and incredibly, everything's still in the balance. And what did we expect, I guess, after 2 rounds, every team was on the same number of points. They're all right next to each other in the world rankings. Still oh so tight. Climbing take from Nicola Friday. Flood looking for those players she can rely on the most, and Selena Upo certainly in that category. Dorothy Wall. Parsons has her legs taken.
Tackle! Move, blue! Okay, that's fine.
Friday plays scrum half, and it's Brittany Hogan. Starts at number 8 in the last match, now having to make her efforts count from the bench. Pete with that last carry. Lane now. Higgins spreads the play. Hogan. Lane just stumbles. And Scotland again. Well, it's so impressive, Phil, isn't it? But as you say, what could possibly be left other than desperate defence after this for the attack?
Yeah. Great awareness. Straight in over the ball. Really good from the Scottish number 6.
The Italian players not yet in celebratory mood. 8 minutes to play.
Well, we said, didn't we, this could be a very tight and cagey affair, and it certainly has been. When they have scored, it's been brilliant, and they've made it look so easy. But unfortunately, there's just been such an arm wrestle in between.
The quality of some of the tries, extremely high.
Yeah.
But that was in the days when the game was alive and everyone was dreaming of piling on the points. For Ireland, it's survival. And for Scotland's, I think they're hoping for something spectacular. Taken by Russell. That's lovely from the lock forward. Rare time in Ireland's half. Maxwell Sarah Bonner. Sarah Law brings it wide. The ambition's still there, Phil, for Scotland, clearly.
Yeah, it is. I'm glad she's running now, because I'm just thinking, if you've got penalty advantage, you've only got a few minutes left to play. Well, get to the mark. Go.
Scotland haven't... Sorry, Phil.
No, we're now going to find out how much they have got left in the tank. If they're going to go for a line out, potentially a driving maul. That's a big ask from your pack that have been defending so much this game.
Scotland's not been seen in a Rugby World Cup since 2010. Ireland having made every World Cup since 1991. Maxwell. Incisive line taken from Hannah Smith, but ripped off her. Naupoo. Higgins, lovely hands under pressure. Considine. Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe with green space opening up. Tackle was from Gaffney and it was good. Lane. Griffin is clattered into. Scotland have the ball back. Smith. Chloe Rowley. Nice right through the middle. Rowley on Parsons. Considine got back to help. Here comes Scotland into Ireland's 22. There are numbers. Molly Wright carries. Maxwell stretches play to the right. Scotland looking for direction as they enter Ireland's 22. Wassell. Law. Skeldon. Lovely pop out of the tackle. Lisa Coburn.
Leave it.
All of a sudden, Scotland making inroads in every play. Higgins, big tackle. Had she gone beyond the horizontal? Play will go on. Brittany Hogan with a timely tackle for Ireland. Lindsay Peake comes out the line. Law. This relentless style of play is what led to Scotland's scores in the first half and the second. Now cranking the vice. And waiting for Ireland to go pop. Hands on. Penalty Ireland. How big is that?
Oh, wow. That would be so disheartening for the Scottish players. What a break from Chloe Rowley to instigate all of that. It literally lifted the entire team. She ate away 30, 40 metres. Really exciting break. And Scotland gave that everything. Strong carries, optional little lifts.
Okay. Tell me when you're ready.
So this is the tackle we referred to earlier. Does this go beyond horizontal? And for me, yes, that does. So what we're looking at there is, do the hips go above the shoulders?
Are you there?
So there is beyond horizontal, so the hips are going above. I think there's a mitigating factor that the player doesn't land on her head or neck. She does get rolled, so she lands on her back, but it is still a dangerous tackle.
For me, this is a lifting tackle. The girls landed on his back, so it's going to be a yellow card.
I agree.
Okay?
Yes.
13 green, okay.
13 green, yellow card.
The die cast for
13 green.
Eve Higgins.
13 green, lifting tackle. The gears landed on the back, so yeah, it's going to be a yellow card.
And that almost confirms any hope that Ireland's had still of scoring 2 more tries in these remaining minutes. Surely now it's about clinging on. 14 against 15, Scotland looking to dump Ireland out of Rugby World Cup contention.
Okay.
And book their own place in the final qualification tournament. That's what's at stake. Italy all but home now. Three weekends of a monumental effort from every team in this competition.
Okay. It's out.
You're just going to be so careful nowadays when you lift a leg, because you just unbalance the player so much. It's very easy then to create that sort of tipping effect.
22.
And Eve Higgins just seemingly so pumped in defence to
Onside,
put that
thank
big
you.
shot on. Just lost a bit of control, you feel. Stacey Flood goes as long as she can. Megan Gaffney skates in field. Law. Now can Scotland turn the wick up? Lisa Thompson, ever full of energy. Lindsay Peat just shuts the door. Great defence from Ireland, and it will have to be for the next 2 minutes. Chloe Rolly didn't see the same space opening up as moments earlier. Evie Gallagher in the 20 jersey for Scotland.
2 minutes.
Maxwell. You can sense the tension around the Stadio Sergio Lanfranchi for everyone except the Italians, who get closer to New Zealand with every second that goes by. Missed the ball game, missed the game in town. Either Scotland or Ireland will have their World Cup dream ended over the next 90 seconds. If Scotland can score and win the game, they'll keep their hopes alive, and it's the same for Ireland. Good hands. Timely run from Rolly. How she has come to prominence as this match has worn on. Maxwell. Law. Right through the middle goes Molly Wright. Offload is good. Into the 22. Maxwell gets the ball away. Playing with the advantage, Jade Conkle. Now it's Emma Wassell. 10 metres away. 50 seconds to play. Right again. Maxwell looks up. She sees it's on from Law. Spread along. Hands into the corner. Chloe Rolly is going to get there. Needs to get close to the posts. Scotland have given themselves a kick for a chance at the World Cup. Italy know it's over.
Good for me, Clara. All good.
Oh, wow. We asked, what have Scotland possibly got left after that epic defensive set? Well, that is it. They still have the energy, the belief, the composure. Unbelievable. And they had numbers spare. Look at this crisp passing, cool, calm collectedness in the centre there just to get that ball away. Lisa Thompson, so much pressure from the Irish defence on her, but she still gets that pass away. And it's so good to see Chloe Rolly. She was a little quiet in the first round. We're starting to see so much more of her in this game. And rightfully so after that first sort of break through the middle that she did in the second half. That really got everyone excited and really sort of inspired Scotland to come back at it and keep going. It seems so fitting that she should be the one now to score that try.
Scotland have to get this kick, Phil.
Wow.
Given the points difference between the two, if it is a draw, it will come down to points difference, and Ireland have that already wrapped up before kickoff. This for another chance to go to the Rugby World Cup next year. Scotland have done it. They have downed Ireland.
Wow. Oh, your heart does bleed for Ireland, but wow, what a comeback from Scotland.
You just can't keep this team down.
No.
Full time, Scotland 20, Ireland 18. It will be the Scots that go on to the final qualification tournament. They may still get to New Zealand, but Italy have booked their ticket. Automatic qualification guaranteed for this team. And for Ireland, the World Cup dream is all over. Both extremes of the emotions available on a rugby pitch. And Scotland's exultant. They had to overturn, Phil, having lost 14 of their last 15 encounters against Ireland.
Yep. Yep. We said, didn't we, early doors, Scotland will never give up. They were down at the half against Spain, yet they stayed in the fight to the very end and came good. And once again, the mental toughness, the resilience and the fitness to be able to weather those defensive sets, yet stay in the game, still have that ambition to attack. Absolutely incredible. Don't get me wrong, there were moments in that game where both teams, unforced errors, set piece, shaky, but you cannot fault the intensity and the desire that both teams had to play.
And Phil, Scotland, just testament to what can be done over the course of 3 weekends and to self-improvement after that first loss to Italy.
Yes. Yeah, that first loss, that big loss, 38-13. I mean, you have to say people were almost writing them off after that. There was no way that they could possibly try and think about qualifying through, but they learnt from it, they grew from it. Some very honest accounts coming out from the players, how much they have to do better, how much they want to do better, and they certainly have learnt and grown as a team throughout this tournament.
You have to feel for Ireland as well, don't you? That consecutive run of making every World Cup since 1991 at an end for the Irish, but Scotland have the dream alive. They will be through to the final qualification tournaments, the likes of Samoa and Colombia, and one other team still to be decided that they will play against to see if they can get to New Zealand. But this result means Italy have booked that direct ticket from these European qualifiers. The home hosts will be on a high tonight. Scotland's still have that dream alive.